Yes, move towards students, Saran, Vishestra, Aditya, Hitesh Chand. Good afternoon to all. Have you worked with the OOPS principle, OOPS concepts, object-oriented programming principles? Have you visited yesterday? Dear students, good afternoon to all. Is my voice is audible? Yes, sir. Okay. So you will try to complete Java constructs, Java classes for Android app development, and Java code function definition. Fourteen members join. Have your view on it. OOPS principle. Wait for 5 minutes so others get join. Object, what we discussed yesterday, object means a real world entity. The OOP, object oriented programming, is a methodology to design a program using the classes and objects. It's very clearly known to you. Already you are having Java programming experience with you. With the simple Java program, you have come across all these processes, and your subject name is treated as object oriented programming. It simplifies the software development and maintenance by providing some concepts, which is simplifies. The OOP simplifies the software development and maintenance by providing these concepts: object, class, inheritance, polymorphism, abstraction, and encapsulation. People are joining. Okay. We'll have every concepts and we'll discuss about that. And make yourself clear, even you already studied, don't be relaxed and put your concentration, and this discussion what's delivered, you keep it, and with your previous experience, what you observed in the last semester, that also you match it and make yourself clear for this Android manipulation logic, which is provided under Java code. Apart from these concepts, what is it? Object, class, inheritance, polymorphism, abstraction, and encapsulation. We are having other object-oriented design principles: coupling, cohesion, association, aggregation, composition. These are all the totally five. Furthermore is available. Apart from these concepts, that encapsulation OOPS principles, there are some other terms which are used in object-oriented design. They are coupling. Previously, data binding, we'll say data hiding. Then cohesion, association, aggregation, and composition. This is the diagram. OOPS system. It starts with the object, then the classes are containing objects, and with these two that can be inherited, the properties and characteristics can be inherited to other classes and objects. Then polymorphism, same class is used for various activities. That's polymorphism. Then abstraction, encapsulation, putting everything in a container. Good. 25 members join. Now, again, the object, the entity that has state and behavior. The entity which is having the state as well as behavior is known as an object. The example we already discussed, it can be physical or logical entity. The entity can be physical or logical. An object can be defined as an instance of a class. The object contains an address and takes up some space in memory. Objects can communicate without knowing the details of each other data or code which is available in it. So object is an entity that can be a physical or logical that has a state as well as behavior. The next is a class. The collection of objects is called class. The collection of objects is called a class. It is a logical entity. Object may be present in physical or logical, but the class is a logical entity. It can also be defined as a blueprint from which you can create an individual object. Class doesn't consume any space in the hard disk. Inheritance. When an object acquires all the properties and behaviors, when one object acquires all the properties and behaviors of another object that can be treated as a parent object, it is known as inheritance. It inherits the properties and characteristics of another object. That's called inheritance. This is used in the reusability of the code. The same activity or manipulation what you are performing, which is already available in an object, that same can be inherited instead of writing a new code. So it provides code reusability. It is used to achieve runtime polymorphism. The same code that inherits as well as it is used in various places, that comes under reusability, as well as it provides during runtime, we can achieve polymorphism. The next keyword is a polymorphism. If one task is performed in different ways, the same task is there that can be performed in various ways. It is known as polymorphism. In Java, we use method overloading and method overriding to achieve polymorphism. What is this method overloading and method overriding? These two topics today you have as an assignment to explore further under this. The polymorphism can be obtained with the help of method overloading and method overriding. So up to now, object, class, it's a logical. Object is a logical as well as physical. An instance of a class is the object. Then when we are coming under the class, it is a logical entity alone. And it doesn't consume any space in the hard disk. Then inheritance, it inherits the properties and characteristics of another object, that's a parent object. Runtime polymorphism can be achieved with this. Then polymorphism is same task we are executing and achieving different results in different methods or different ways is known as polymorphism. Method overloading and method overriding are used to achieve polymorphism. Next is the abstraction. Abstract data type. In OOPS, object-oriented programming concept, it comes in the sense abstraction is the main thing. Hiding internal details and showing functionality. Only the functionality will be shown. the data and internal details, what you have keeping inside the program, everything will be hidden, is known as abstraction. In Java, we use abstract class and interface to achieve abstraction. The abstract class type is used to achieve the abstraction. Encapsulation, putting everything in a container, binding or wrapping code and data together into a single unit are known as encapsulation. These are all the basic of OOPS. Apart from these basics, we are having object-oriented programming design. During the design, some more keywords are. First one is a coupling. Is my voice is audible? Are you listening now? Students, is my voice is audible? Are you listening right now actively? The points are, yeah. Great. Chaudhary, come on, just respond with why. Take 15 seconds. Good, come quick. Okay, coupling. It refers to the knowledge or information or dependency of another class. It arises when classes are aware of each other. The classes must have each other. They have communication, in the sense coupling can be achieved. If a class has the detailed information of another class, there is a strong coupling. In Java, private, protected, public, these modifiers we will use. You can see most probably we used private. If you see here, this is a simple calculator app. The modifiers here we used public. Here the modifier what we used protected. Good. Welcome to the. Okay, are you seeing my Android Studio screen or only the PDF? Stopping the. See here, now you can view the Android Studio. Yeah, here in this class we use the modifier as public. Under the methods we used protected. And here also public. Under this method we are having. Okay. If a class has the details and information of another class, there is a strong coupling. In Java, we use private, protected, and public modifiers to display the visibility level of a class, a method, and a field. Cohesion. It refers to the level of component which performs a single well-defined task. A single well-defined task is done by a highly cohesive method. The weakly cohesive method will split the task into separate parts. The java.io package is a highly cohesive package because it has input and output related classes and interfaces in it. Without that, we can't do any manipulation. So this is called highly cohesive. That's a java.io package. The java.utility UTIL package is a weakly cohesive package because it has unrelated classes and interfaces, which is not necessary for the particular manipulation in your program code. Even there are two examples, highly cohesive in the sense, give the example as java.io package, and weakly cohesive in the sense you make use with java.utility. Keeping these two packages as an example, you can recall what is meant by cohesion. Association, it represents the relationship between the objects. Here, one object can be associated with another object or many objects. There can be 4 types of association between the objects: one to one, one to many to one, and many to many. Maybe heard about that. If you have committed or completed or performed any exercises, lab exercises during your last semester, you can come across what is this association. This can be unidirectional or bidirectional. This association can be in both the direction. Based on the logic and the program need, the application for which you are writing the code according to the need of that, logically, the association can be provided unidirectional or bidirectional. If you want any response from a particular object, you can use this bidirectional, only providing the value to another object, the results, what to be returned, that time you can make use of unidirectional. Aggregation, it represents the relationship where one object contains another object as part of its state. Composition, it is also a way to achieve association. It represents the relationship where one object contains other objects as a part of its state. There is a strong relationship between containing object and the dependent object. It is a state where containing objects do not have an independent existence. It relies on the parent objects. That's a concept here. Now you read this, and what you are coming across the traditional programming, that's a procedure-oriented programming, to the OOPS programming. You have completed a semester of learning. What's the advantages available in this OOP? Can anyone type in the chat box? And the points, what's available, 3 bullets, what we are having, that might not be returned back. Based on your analysis, I have to return the value. Come on, or unmute and talk with me. What's the advantages available in the OOPS? Yesterday itself we concluded the reusability, modularity, the program at any point of time after the complete development is over, any new activity or task to be included in the particular project that can easily insert it. If any block is not needed, any task which already you have provided, the task is not necessary, immediately you can open the code and you can remove that. Again, you can compile and complete the process. In procedure oriented, it's not like so easy. In everywhere we have to sit and we have to navigate, analyze, and we redo the entire work. But in this modularity concept, this Java manipulation logic based programming language, it provides a modular inclusion as well as a removal from the code. That's the main advantage. Apart from that, what bulleted points are given, you can have a view on it. OOPS makes development and maintenance easier. What we discussed, the same as a summary. It makes the development as well as maintenance easier. After the development, any maintenance, inclusion or exclusion of a particular module, it becomes very easy. Whereas in a procedure-oriented programming language, it is not easy to manage if code grows as project size increases. Everywhere you have to analyze, and dependency has to be verified. It's a headache process to include or exclude any of the task or operation you have already developed in the procedure oriented. That's the main difference. The second point, the OOPS provides data hiding, whereas in a procedure oriented programming language, global data can be accessed from anywhere is there and in the entire part of the programming code. It can be global data can be accessed from any part of the particular programming code. OOPS provides the ability to simulate a real world event much more effectively. The simulation of real world event, that's a click event procedure. Real world in the sense after the execution, during the runtime, if the code is executed, that is called a real world event. By clicking the button, these are all comes under events, real world events. OOPS provides the ability to simulate a real world event much more effectively. We can provide the solution of real world problem if we are using the OOPS language, object oriented programming language. That is a little clear. Up to this totally 5 or 6 projects we have experienced and we have developed and we extracted the output during the runtime. That's called the real world execution. In the real world event processing, what you did, the third point can give you the clarity, give you all the clarity on this. OOPS provides the ability to simulate real world event much more effectively. We can provide the solution of real world problem if we are using the object oriented programming language. Now another one key term, that's the object based programming language and object oriented programming language. Only 2 differences it's given here. I hope everyone are listening. 28 members are available as the participants now. Are you listening actively? So give, yes, good. Give the chat box information. I want to validate. Take 15 seconds. The discussion will create you somehow in extended mode. What you are having the knowledge on this particular concept already 1 semester, 1 entire subject. If you prepared, now it will give some other doors to be opened to invoke. And today again you are supposed to explore more on it. Abhinav Thakur, Tushar Shekhar and Aditya Chaudhary, Abhishek. I hope those who are attending even with the smartphone, be attentive and concentrate on the discussion. Okay. The object-based programming language follows the features of OOPS, except the inheritance principle. The object-based programming language. This may be in any 2-mark or 1-mark question for your evaluation point of view. Make a clear note on it. What's the difference between object-based programming language to object-oriented programming language? Only the object-based programming language doesn't have the concept called inheritance in it. Other principles are followed by this object-based programming language. Give the example of this object-based. JavaScript and VB scripts are examples of object-based programming languages. Visual Basic script as well as JavaScript. Creating objects, Java constructs. The custom objects will have their own characteristics, variables and constants, methods. Up to now what we did in our project, whether it's addition or just a hello world program or arithmetic or simple calculator or changing various activities in the same application or passing the data between the activities. Well, up to now, these are all the exercises we are having in hand. We experienced all are created by our own. The custom objects will have their own characteristics, variables and constants. The constants are string constants we used in our program. Variables, the widget variable, I will use the key term after this discussion. We are UI elements based variables, button, text view, edit text. These are all comes under this variables context. And as for the string constants, under the strings.xml file, we used constants too. So the custom objects will have their own characteristics, variables and constants, behaviors. That's the event procedures are defined under it. Methods, accessibility, access control modifiers, that is public, protected and private. procreation constructors, and even can have their own rules of engagement interfaces. They can have their own home offices, that's called packages. Our application may have our own packages. Now you can see in this, any application what you are working, the package is our own. This is the package name, com.example.android calculator. If you take any other application, sorry, any project, other project, for example, they have their own package, the name of expression. These custom objects, they have their own packages. This is in large part accomplished using the top level structure in Java, which is called a Java class. Next is the Java class, Java code structure container. In standard edition Java, a class that defines what the object can do, that is its methods, and what data fields it possesses. You are very much clear. I initiated your development by declaring the variables with the corresponding or specific data types, whether it's a text view or text edit or button or any double integer or string data are needed in your code. These variables are declared with its specific data types. In Java 2nd edition, a class that defines what the object can do, that is method, whether it's a click event or set on click listener in the particular method, what to do, that's the operations, and what data fields it possesses. Data fields in the sense we are declaring inside the class as a data type variables, then those data variables are linked with the XML IDs of your user interface visual design that is provided, and along with the XML code generation happens in automatic mode. Once the class has been coded in Java, it is possible to create an instance of an object by referencing a class definition. In other terms, architectural terms, the class is a kind of blueprint as to what the object will be structured like, including what states it will contain, that's the variables, its other attributes, constants, the string data type, the strings.xml, it consists constants, and the task it can perform, the methods that it has. Okay, most probably only the set on click listener for the button, only this particular method up to now we have committed, and various methods are there that has to be explored. To define a variable in Java, you must first declare the data type, it's known to you. An integer or int data type declares a variable to be able to hold a whole number. A string can have text value. The Boolean can have the values either are true or false. Next portion of variable definition or declaration after the data type has been specified is a custom variable name, which you will use to refer the variable later within the Java programming logic. Set a default or starting data value that's assigning the values in the initial state using equal sign. In simple calculator application, we had that assignment. The variable definition is entered once it reaches or it's terminated with a semicolon, that's character. The Java compiler in Android Studio, which is reading or parsing your Java code after reading the semicolon, knows that each statement is finished being defined. From the simple calculator app, you can see sample code, the declaration of data under the class. IN1 and I2, these two are double data type variables, and they are initialized with the value, numerical value 0. Double in the sense it's having fractional data can be used under this variable. Then another one, text view, its data type, and the variable name is edit text 1. Then Boolean, we have 6 different variables on it. One is the add, sub, multiply, divide, remainder, and decimal, deci. These 6 are variable names, and this is the data type. Next is the button data type, in which we are having various button in our logic. The names of variables are given under this. So here double, text view, Boolean, button are data types. IN1 and I2 are double data type variables and assigned with values 0 at initially. Edit text 1 is a variable of text view data type. And add, sub, multiply, divide, these 6 variables are the variables of Boolean data type. And remaining button names are provided, the variable names are provided, they are the variables of button data type. The Java code function definition. The next part of the Java class definition file will contain the methods. You can come across any project. This is for simple calculator. This is for addition. After the declaration, the methods are beginning, protected void. Inside it, the event procedure. Real world events are easily handled by the object-oriented programming languages. So here, when it is in runtime, the output is available on your device. You can interact with the program. So these two are comes under this concept. Now have a view. The next part of the Java class definition file will contain the methods. A Java method will define how object will function. That is how it will operate on the variables that you define at the top of the class. At the top of the class, you have defined the variables. You have declared that variables. How these variables will operate, that will be declared here. A Java method will define how object will function. That is how it will operate on the variables that you defined at the top of the class. Method calls can invoke a variable, change, and methods can also return data values to the entity that calls or invokes the method, such as data values that have been successfully changed or even the result of an equation. This data changes, you take this addition program, initially there won't be any values set for this edit text v1, v2, where the data are each and every instance they are changing. Not instance, in your method we are having the clear button also that will clear the values what is available on it. And what we didn't perform, the values what we are using. Wait a minute. We are not using any variable directly, that edit text variable itself we are making. So clearing the edit text area using the C, in which we have cleared all the values. That in the sense data will be vanished from the manipulation point of view. Again, the next data value on these edit text 1 and edit text 2 will be collected. Now, if you see this, you can come across this. The first time after manipulation, you are getting the result over here. Again, when you are pressing the clear, the entire thing will be vanished. That in the sense, in our manipulation logic, we are not using any integer or double variable to be used for the manipulation purpose. What variables we have declared? Button, edit text, text view, float we are using only to when we are setting the text. After we are collecting the text one and text two. Edit text one and edit text two boxes values, and we are collecting this value as an added value in the S for substituting in the string variable. This is the logic we used in this area. So only float we are using. This float is not directly accessed by any of the method or call. So making empty or vanishing the data available in the variable capital F is unnecessary at this point. The method calls can invoke a variable change, and methods can also return data values to the entity that calls or invokes the method, such as data values that have been successfully changed, or even the results of an equation. That in the sense, again, you consider when there is no data or fed in your application during runtime, previously the data value is available null. If you are providing some values, again the data changes to the corresponding, the string data values are substituted on the particular widget. This particular widget is assigned with the ID N1. In the manipulation, the same N1 is linked with the V1 variable of edit text data type. Then V1 through which we are collecting and we are performing the manipulation at this stage, at this line of code. Now, the Java method is declared and created inside of your Java class structure. To declare a Java method that does not return any data values to the calling entity and that only invokes some sort of state change in the object, you would utilize the Java void keyword before the method name. And you can find, where is that? Here, we are having void keyword. It doesn't returns any, that's clearly known to you also. No need to put much concentration on this and have a view. Example from the simple calculator application project. The same code, once again, it's given here. The data variables, data type and name available within the parameter list contains the data parameter that will be passed into the method. So the method now has its passed in data variable to work with inside of the Java code that is defined inside of the method programming, inside the method based on programming logic inside of its curly braces. Now you can have a view on the existing Java code. You open and match with this bulleted information. This declares a variable for use, and these parameter variables can be used inside the method. Some methods, such as trigger something, will be called without using any variables, as would be done in a .setOnClick listener method, which would be called in your Java code as follows. So in which, what is meant by this object class, what methods, operation, manipulations we are having inside the code is covered under today's discussion. And it's your part today. You are supposed to concentrate on the polymorphism, a concept which we discussed, polymorphism. Where is it? Method overloading and method overriding. This to be explored by yourself. That's a little assignment. You make yourself clear on these two information with respect to polymorphism. Okay, I am stopping the discussion at this point today. And tomorrow, Dr. Nanda Gopal sir will handle your session. I'm on leave tomorrow. Are you hearing my voice? Are you listening now? And it's your responsibility to show your outputs up to now, what projects we have did. You show the output to sir. You present your screen and show the Android Studio, one or two, at least one, even addition program must be completed. Everyone must show the output of your the Android Studio project, what called the addition. You show the output. And I'm expecting totally all 41 members may completed this addition program. We have crossed more than one projects and applications we have completed. And this addition may be now very easy for you to manipulate and keep. If those who are not getting ready with that, today evening you sit and complete the addition program and make it ready for showing the demonstration on tomorrow's session. Is it okay? There is no responses available. Now give your attendance. Akash Chopra.
Yes, sir.
Only for attendance you are responding. Anurag Sharma. Absent. Jatin Preet Singh. Saklani. Nitesh Katwal. Prashant Bharadwaj.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Vanshida Dikshit.
Present, sir.
Harinderjit.
सर नितेश कटवाल प्रेजेंट
Why you
माइक
have
नहीं
not
चल रहा था
Okay, Nitesh Katwal.
यस सर
Okay, I mark.
5010 also present.
Why?
Sir, mic नहीं चल
5010.
रहा है.
Is a Prashant
Yes, sir.
Bharadwaj.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Then who is next? Harinderjit.
Present, sir.
Good. Raghav Chandal.
And sir.
Raghav Mittal.
सर वो सर एमसीसी में सर उनका सर कैंप है सर वो कॉलेज में आया हुआ है राघव मित्तल.
Okay, Raghav Mittal. I'm marking now absent. When he is submitting the detail, we will make that as OD. Aditya Pushpam.
Present, sir.
Hitesh Chand. Absent. Prabal. Hitesh Chand may be present. 1002%. Anurag Sharma, make problem. Okay. Prabal, absent. Shyamal, absent. Anurag Patel,
Yes, sir.
Ayush,
Present, sir.
absent. Aditya Chaudhary,
Present, sir.
Aryan,
Present, sir.
Karthik Thakur,
Present, sir.
Dikshit,
Present, sir.
Shubham, absent. Utkaresh Rai,
Present, sir.
Anuj, absent.
Sir, 5006 present.
5006. Jatin Preet Singh, क्या हुआ? Jatin, what happened? Okay, good. Asantosh Kumar,
Present, sir.
Karnik Kumar,
Yes, sir.
Present, I think. Pratmesh. Karni Kumar present or absent?
Yes, sir. Present, sir.
Oh, yeah. Pratmesh Saxena. Absent. Shivans Kalsi. Many absentees it throws today. Yashika.
Present, sir.
Good. Satvik.
Yes, sir.
Vanshaj.
Yes, sir.
Abhishek.
Present, sir.
Niharika.
Present, sir.
Hitesh Kumar.
Present, sir.
Savish Verma.
Present, sir.
Tushar Rana.
Present, sir.
Abhinav Thakur.
Present, sir.
Abhinav Sharma.
सर वो कैंपस गया हुआ एनसीसी के लिए.
Okay, he's not attending this session. Now I am marking this absent. Isha Agarwal. Absent.
Present, sir. Isha.
Okay. Tushar Shekhar.
Present, sir.
Uday. Uday. is absent. Nitesh.
Present,
Okay, good.
Sir, when will you send me the link for the ST1?
Yeah, after 3 p.m. After
Okay.
3 p.m. you may get the link.
Okay, sir.
So 5017 present, sir.
5017. Hitesh Chand.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. We'll count how many absentees. 2, 4, 6, 9, 11 absentees. Okay, now you can log out from it. And tomorrow you present one output to the staff who is handling. Thank you. All of you can log out. I'm terminating this session. Thanks.